My friend Larch has just been jailed for 3 years, and I've got to tell you about his story because he is fighting the climate catastrophe. For years, he's fought tirelessly for the survival of our planet against the carbon elite. And now, unjustly, he's been sentenced to 3 years in prison for this peaceful resistance. And this is his story and ours. I first met Larch on a festival field, and we planned to give a talk together on the extinction crisis. We'd only exchanged a few emails beforehand, but we clicked right away. He moved people in that tent with his tears for our crumbling world, and we both did. Then that night, we danced like it was the last day of our lives. What a guy. He's old enough to be my dad, and he's always treated me with that kind of paternal kindness. But I'd never seen a dad dance like that. It was all 90s rave culture, jittery movements that mesmerized and tickled me. We hugged goodnight and promised to stay in touch. And those dances released us from the fear of a looming storm. We knew the tumultuous days of collapse and repression were ahead of us, but we steeled ourselves with that joy and our non-violent discipline. Over the next 2 years, we launched the biggest British campaign for civil disobedience in history. We fought through those tears for our right to a habitable world. And during the weeks of rebellion, we blocked roads from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. before launching into meetings and media interviews. And I'd never met anyone who could sleep so little and yet smile so warmly. Ever the optimist, Larch even approached a local art college and asked the students there to help him block the Elephant and Castle roundabout. It was a fanciful idea to most of us, but it worked. Their energy, their young energy and enthusiasm just made his day, and he was so happy that night. As we took those 5 sites across London with thousands of others, Larch led the cavalry of colourful resistance. Waterloo Bridge was like his castle, and he gave it his blood, sweat and tears to protect it. And that deep resolve that Larch had mirrors countless others who have put their bodies on the line, standing firm in the face of a system that is determined to crush our spirits. Across the rebellion, he was always this liaison between the dynamic and emotional sides of resistance, always carrying them with the love of a dad. Afterwards, we camped together after driving across Europe to a climate gathering, and we were squished together each night in our tents, telling stories late into the night and giggling until our cheeks were sore. And now I just think that he can't look up at the stars. He can't look up in this prison cell that he's in. I drifted away into a space of chronic illness, and whilst I did, he was fighting to protect ancient woodlands. He was tunnelling under Euston Station to stop the HS2, and he tunnelled under oil refinery roads to stop that oil going through the stuff that's fueling our climate crisis. We knew prison could be looming over us, and we thought, okay, we'll plan for it then. We'll expose the government's criminality by filling their jails, just like the Freedom Riders did in the 1960s. Nevertheless, the pain of seeing a friend go to jail still punches me in the stomach. How many more do I have to see behind bars? Roger, Indigo, Larch, Dan, all my friends, Lou, Lucia. How many before the government switches off its suicidal part? Meanwhile, the real criminals, the fossil fuel companies and the governments enabling them, continue their destruction completely unchecked. To me, Larch's imprisonment is a stark reminder of the lengths to which those in power will go to silence dissent and maintain their grip on a dying world. All I know is this isn't the moment to retreat. Larch has a warm determination and a community that will stick by his side. And he would ask all of us to keep going, to keep fighting, to shake off the fear of repression and embrace that life of resistor, because it's the moral and just thing to do in this moment. Our whole nation's morals are being on trial with peaceful protesters in jail. How many more like Larch will they lock up before a mass movement demands their release and no more fossil fuels?